Do you often struggle with controlling your mind in stressful situations? Are you looking for a way to achieve inner peace and clarity, no matter what life throws at you? Well, look no further, because in today's video, we'll be delving deep into the teachings of Buddhism to help you master your mind and find serenity in any circumstance. Lesson 1. Accept unwanted thoughts. Imagine your mind as a vast ocean, where thoughts are like waves, sometimes calm and soothing, other times turbulent and unsettling. Among these waves are thoughts we don't want, like unwelcome guests disrupting our inner peace. But the first lesson in controlling your mind, as taught by Buddhism, is not to fight against these unwanted thoughts, but to accept them. Buddhism teaches us mindfulness, which means being fully present and aware of our thoughts without judging them. Instead of struggling against unwanted thoughts, we're encouraged to observe them calmly, acknowledging their presence without letting them control us. When we try to resist or push away unwanted thoughts, it's like trying to stop a wave with our bare hands. It's exhausting and ultimately futile. But when we accept these thoughts, we stop fighting against the natural flow of our minds. We become like skilled surfers, riding the waves of our thoughts with ease instead of being overwhelmed by them. Acceptance doesn't mean we agree with or endorse these thoughts. It simply means recognizing that they exist without attaching any particular meaning or importance to them. By accepting unwanted thoughts, we free ourselves from the struggle and suffering that comes from trying to control something that is inherently uncontrollable. This doesn't mean we passively allow negative thoughts to consume us. Acceptance is not resignation. Instead, it's about recognizing that thoughts come and go like passing clouds in the sky. We don't have to chase after them or hold on to them. We can simply let them be. Practicing acceptance of unwanted thoughts is like building a muscle. At first, it may be difficult, especially if we're used to resisting or suppressing certain thoughts. But with time and practice, it becomes easier. We develop greater resilience and inner peace, knowing that we can handle whatever thoughts arise without being overwhelmed by them. Acceptance also allows us to see unwanted thoughts more clearly. When we stop struggling against them, we create space to observe them with curiosity and compassion. We may start to notice patterns or triggers that give rise to these thoughts, allowing us to address them more effectively. Moreover, acceptance fosters a sense of inner freedom. When we're no longer at war with our own minds, we can direct our energy towards more constructive pursuits. We become less reactive and more responsive, able to make wiser choices based on clarity and insight, rather than fear or resistance. Accepting unwanted thoughts is an act of self-compassion. It's about embracing our humanity, with all its imperfections and complexities. It's recognizing that we are not defined by our thoughts, but by how we choose to relate to them. Lesson 2. Change your perspective. Imagine you're looking at a painting. Depending on where you stand, the colors and shapes might appear different. This is because your perspective, the way you see things, can change how you experience the painting. Similarly, in life, how we view situations can drastically affect how we feel about them. In Buddhism, Lesson 2 teaches us the importance of changing our perspective to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and peace of mind. Our minds have a powerful influence on how we perceive the world. Sometimes we might face difficult situations that seem overwhelming or unfair. But Buddhism teaches us that it's not the situation itself that causes our suffering, it's our interpretation of it. This means that by changing the way we see things, we can change how we feel about them. One of the key teachings of Buddhism is to cultivate a broader perspective, one that goes beyond our own self-interest and ego. This involves practicing qualities like loving kindness and compassion, which help us see the interconnectedness of all beings. When we realize that we're all connected, it becomes easier to empathize with others and understand their perspectives. Changing our perspective can also help us deal with challenges more effectively. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks that prevent us from moving forward, we can view them as opportunities for growth and learning. This shift in mindset empowers us to face difficulties with courage and resilience, knowing that every obstacle is a chance to become stronger and wiser. Changing our perspective allows us to see the silver lining in even the darkest of clouds. When we focus on the positive aspects of a situation rather than dwelling on the negatives, we cultivate a sense of gratitude and appreciation for life's blessings. This doesn't mean ignoring or denying the reality of difficult circumstances. Rather, it's about choosing to focus on what we can control and finding reasons to be hopeful. Practicing gratitude is one way to change our perspective and cultivate a more positive outlook on life. By regularly reflecting on the things we're thankful for, we train our minds to see the good in every situation, no matter how challenging it may be. This doesn't mean pretending that everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging the beauty and goodness that exist alongside the difficulties. Changing our perspective also involves letting go of rigid ways of thinking and being open to new possibilities. Sometimes we might get stuck in negative thought patterns or beliefs that limit our potential. But by adopting a more flexible mindset, we can adapt to change more easily and approach life with curiosity and openness. Lesson 3. Focus on positives. Life is like a painting with both bright colors and dark shades. It's easy to get caught up in the darkness, but if we only focus on that, we miss out on the beauty of the light. In Buddhism, Lesson 3 teaches us the importance of directing our attention towards the positives in life, even when faced with challenges. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Buddhist teachings. It's about appreciating the good things in our lives, big or small. When we focus on what we're grateful for, like the love of family, the beauty of nature, or the simple pleasures of everyday life, we shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance. Instead of dwelling on what we lack, we celebrate what we have, fostering a sense of contentment and fulfillment. Practicing gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about cultivating a mindset of appreciation. This means actively seeking out the positives in every situation, no matter how difficult or painful it may be. Even in the midst of challenges, there are often silver linings if we're willing to look for them. By training our minds to focus on the positives, we can find hope and resilience even in the darkest of times. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role in focusing on the positives. Mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, without judgment or attachment. When we practice mindfulness, we become aware of our thoughts and feelings as they arise, allowing us to observe them without getting swept away by them. In the practice of mindfulness, we learn to savor the simple joys of life, the taste of food, the feel of a gentle breeze, the sound of laughter. By anchoring ourselves in the present moment, we let go of worries about the past or future, finding peace and contentment in the here and now. Mindfulness helps us break free from negative thought patterns that can keep us stuck in a cycle of unhappiness. Instead of ruminating on past regrets or worrying about future uncertainties, we learn to appreciate the beauty and richness of each moment as it unfolds. By focusing on the positives, we also cultivate resilience in the face of adversity. Life is full of ups and downs, but by training our minds to see the good in every situation, we become more adaptable and resourceful. Instead of being overwhelmed by challenges, we approach them with optimism and creativity, finding solutions where others see only obstacles. Lesson 4. Thinking differently. Imagine your mind as a garden filled with seeds of thoughts. Some seeds grow into beautiful flowers, filling your garden with color and fragrance. But other seeds grow into weeds, choking out the beauty and leaving your garden barren. In Lesson 4 of Buddhism's teachings on controlling the mind, we learn the importance of tending to this garden of thoughts and cultivating positivity. One of the first steps in thinking differently is becoming aware of our thought patterns. Often we don't even realize the negative thoughts that are running through our minds. They become like background noise, subtly shaping our perceptions and attitudes. But by practicing mindfulness, being present and attentive to our thoughts, we can start to notice these patterns and their effects on our well-being. Once we're aware of our negative thought patterns, the next step is to interrupt them and replace them with more positive ones. This is where the power of affirmations comes in. Affirmations are positive statements that we repeat to ourselves to reinforce a desired belief or attitude. For example, if we catch ourselves thinking, "I'm not good enough," we can replace that thought with, "I am worthy and capable." Over time, these affirmations help to rewire our brains, replacing self-limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Another powerful tool for thinking differently is loving kindness meditation. In this practice, we cultivate feelings of love, compassion, and goodwill towards ourselves and others. By intentionally directing kindness towards ourselves, we counteract the negative self-talk that often plagues our minds. And by extending kindness to others, we foster a sense of connection and abundance, shifting our focus away from scarcity and towards generosity. By practicing loving kindness meditation regularly, we create a fertile ground for positivity to take root and grow. Instead of dwelling on our shortcomings or resenting others' successes, we cultivate a mindset of abundance and goodwill. This doesn't mean ignoring or denying the challenges we face. It's about approaching them with a sense of openness and resilience, knowing that we have the inner resources to overcome them. Lesson 5. Challenge your thoughts. Our minds are like storytellers, constantly crafting narratives that shape how we see the world. But sometimes these stories are more fiction than fact, leading us astray and causing unnecessary suffering. In Lesson 5 of Buddhism's teachings on controlling the mind, we learn the importance of questioning our thoughts and discerning what is true from what is simply a product of our imagination. Buddhism encourages us to cultivate a spirit of inquiry, to become curious detectives investigating the validity of our beliefs. Instead of blindly accepting every thought that pops into our heads, we're invited to ask ourselves, where did this thought come from? Is there any evidence to support it? How does believing this thought make me feel? Mindfulness plays a crucial role in this process. Mindfulness is about being present and aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we create space between ourselves and our thoughts, allowing us to observe them with greater clarity and objectivity. Imagine you're sitting by a river, watching leaves float by on the water. Each leaf represents a thought passing through your mind. Instead of jumping onto every leaf and getting carried away by it, you simply watch them drift by, noticing their shape and color without getting caught up in their story. This is the essence of mindfulness, to observe our thoughts with detachment, recognizing them as temporary phenomena rather than absolute truths. By cultivating mindfulness, we develop a greater awareness of our thought patterns. We start to notice recurring themes and triggers that give rise to certain thoughts. And as we become more familiar with our thought patterns, we can begin to question their validity. Challenging our thoughts doesn't mean dismissing them outright or trying to force ourselves to think positively all the time. It's about approaching our thoughts with curiosity and discernment, like a scientist conducting experiments in the laboratory of our minds. We examine the evidence, test hypotheses, and draw conclusions based on reason and logic rather than fear or habit. By challenging our thoughts in this way, we can start to loosen their grip on us. We realize that just because we think something doesn't make it true. And as we become more adept at questioning our thoughts, we gain greater freedom to choose which ones to believe and which ones to let go of. Lesson 6. Change your perspective. Imagine you're standing in a room with colorful stained glass windows. Depending on where you stand, the sunlight shines through the glass, casting different patterns and colors on the walls. Similarly, in life, our perspective, the way we see things, can dramatically affect how we experience the world around us. In Lesson 6 of Buddhism's teachings on controlling the mind, we learn the profound impact that changing our perspective can have on our well-being and resilience. Our minds are like filters, shaping our reality based on our thoughts and beliefs. When we encounter challenges or difficult situations, it's not the circumstances themselves that determine how we feel, but rather how we interpret and perceive them. This is where the power of perspective comes into play. Buddhism teaches us to adopt a broader perspective, one that goes beyond our own ego and self-interest. Central to this perspective is the practice of loving kindness and compassion. By cultivating empathy towards others and recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings, we shift our focus from narrow self-concern to a more expansive view of the world. When we face challenges, whether it's a setback at work, a personal loss, or a health crisis, we have a choice in how we perceive and respond to them. We can either see ourselves as victims, powerless in the face of adversity, or we can adopt a more empowering perspective. Shifting our perspective from victimhood to empowerment doesn't mean denying the reality of our difficulties. It's about reframing our thoughts and beliefs to see challenges as opportunities for growth and transformation. Instead of viewing obstacles as insurmountable barriers, we see them as stepping stones on the path to becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient individuals. For example, let's say you're facing a challenging situation at work. A project you've been working on for months suddenly falls through. From a victim mindset, you might feel defeated and hopeless, blaming external factors for your misfortune. But by changing your perspective, you can see this setback as an opportunity to learn and grow. Perhaps it's a chance to develop new skills, forge new connections, or pursue a different path that aligns more closely with your values and aspirations. Changing our perspective also involves reframing our thoughts to focus on the positive aspects of a situation, even in the midst of difficulty. This doesn't mean ignoring or denying the challenges we face. It's about consciously choosing where to direct our attention and energy. By cultivating a mindset of positivity and resilience, we can navigate through life's trials with grace and dignity. Changing our perspective allows us to cultivate gratitude for the blessings in our lives, no matter how small they may seem. When we shift our focus from what's lacking to what we have, we cultivate a sense of abundance and appreciation for the richness of life. By adopting a broader view of the world, cultivating empathy and compassion, and reframing our thoughts to focus on empowerment and gratitude, we can transform how we experience life's challenges and setbacks. So the next time you find yourself facing difficulties, remember that you have the power to change your perspective and choose how you want to respond. Lesson 7. Take breaks and get moving. Buddhism teaches us the value of balance in all aspects of life, including our physical health and mental well-being. Mindfulness, a cornerstone of Buddhist practice, encourages us to pay attention to our bodies and listen to their signals. When we're constantly pushing ourselves without giving our bodies a chance to rest, we risk burnout and exhaustion. By tuning into our bodies and honoring their need for rest and rejuvenation, we can cultivate a greater sense of balance and harmony in our lives. Taking breaks isn't just about physical rest. It's also about giving our minds a chance to recharge. When we're constantly engaged in tasks and activities, our minds can become overwhelmed and fatigued. Taking short breaks throughout the day allows us to step back, clear our minds, and come back to our tasks with renewed focus and energy. Whether it's a short walk outside, a few minutes of deep breathing, or simply closing our eyes and resting, these moments of pause are essential for maintaining mental clarity and resilience. But rest alone isn't enough to keep our bodies and minds healthy and strong. Movement is equally important. Engaging in physical activity not only helps us stay physically fit, but also has profound effects on our mental and emotional well-being. When we move our bodies, we release tension and stress, improve circulation, and stimulate the release of endorphins, natural chemicals in the brain that boost mood and promote feelings of well-being. Physical activity also offers a welcome break from the mental chatter and distractions of everyday life. Whether it's practicing yoga, going for a walk, or dancing to your favorite music, movement can be a form of meditation in motion, a way to quiet the mind and connect with the present moment. In this way, movement becomes a tool for cultivating mindfulness and inner peace. Regular physical activity has long-term benefits for our overall health and well-being. It can reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and depression, and improve cognitive function and memory. By making movement a regular part of our lives, we not only enhance our physical health, but also support our mental and emotional resilience. By honoring our body's need for rest and rejuvenation, and engaging in regular physical activity, we can support our overall well-being and cultivate a greater sense of harmony and peace within ourselves. So the next time you find yourself feeling overwhelmed or stressed, remember to take a break, get moving, and give yourself the gift of both rest and motion. By embracing acceptance, shifting perspectives, and focusing on the positives, we embark on a transformative journey towards inner peace and freedom. As we walk this path together, may we discover the boundless potential that lies within, and may our minds be a source of light and inspiration for all beings.